One of the most profound yet often overlooked forces shaping the 21st century is happening silently. It is about who is being born and in what numbers. We are living through an era of unprecedented demographic shifts, with plummeting birth rates in many secularized nations, while more traditional and highly religious communities often have much higher fertility rates. And this isn't just an interesting statistic, although it is an interesting statistic, but it is a demographic undercurrent with the potential to redraw the world's religious, cultural, and even geopolitical maps, potentially leading to an era where faith plays an increasingly assertive role on the world stage. Globally, the total fertility rate is around 2.2 children per woman, but this average masks a world of differences. First, much of the developed world is, we could say, in a demographic winter. The US total fertility rate is only about 1.6, but that is high compared to the EU, which has a fertility rate of just 1.4. But then compare that to South Korea, an even more impotent 0.7, and China at 1.0. They are at crisis levels. And these are societies that have a high degree of secularization, not too much religion. In the US, now about 28% of adults identify as religiously unaffiliated, as having no religion. And that was up from 16% in 2007. In many Western nations, that nuns, those without religion, constitute 40 to 50% of their population. Now here's where the demographic equation gets interesting. While overall religiosity may be declining in many Western nations, highly religious communities often have very strikingly different demographic patterns. Consider Orthodox Jews. Studies consistently show their fertility rates are much higher than more secular Jews. Among the most religious, the ultra-Orthodox, they have a total fertility rate of around 6.5 or higher. And that is compared to about 2 for more secular Jewish Israelis. Similarly, let's look at the Muslim community, where they have the highest fertility rate of any major religious group. Best estimates have it at around 2.9 children per woman, and that's mostly driven by high birth rates in sub-Saharan Africa. And this has led Pew Research to project that by 2050, Muslims will make up around 10 to 14% of Europe's total population, up from about 4.9% in 2016. Highly religious Christians also have higher fertility rates. Women who attend religious services in the US have a fertility rate around 2.1 children per woman, much higher than the US average. Studies in the US have indicated that evangelical Protestants tend to have more children than Protestants or the religiously unaffiliated. In the US, Mormons have historically one of the highest fertility rates of around 2.8, way above the national average. So what happens when you project these trends forward? If secular populations with low fertility rates continue to shrink, while more devout religious populations with higher fertility rates continue to grow, the religious composition of societies will likely change. Between 2015 and 2060, the global Muslim population will grow by 70%, while Christians will grow by about 34%. The religiously unaffiliated, while growing in percentage terms in North America and Europe due to people essentially switching their religion to no religion, you could say losing their religion, they are projected to decline as a share of the world's population from about 16% in 2015 to only about 13% in 2060, precisely because of low fertility rates among the religiously unaffiliated. This isn't just about numbers, it's about influence and values. As the demographic weight of more religious groups increases within nations, it's plausible to expect that religious values will play a more prominent role in public discourse, social norms, and potentially politics. This could lead to increased pressure for policies aligned with religious doctrines on issues like family law, education, and foreign policy. We've already seen, as of 2020, 43 countries had an official state religion. Increased religiosity could amplify these tendencies even further. If countries become more demographically religious, their governments may become more assertive in promoting a faith-based global agenda. The clash of civilizations hypothesis put forward by Samuel Huntington might find new relevance. Huntington argued that future conflicts could be fought along cultural and religious lines. While it is debated, the idea that deep religious worldviews backed by growing demographic numbers could lead to increased friction between civilization blocks. So imagine a future where major powers are more overtly defined by their religious character, with a more religiously assertive West, a rapidly growing Islamic bloc, a more nationalistic Hindu India. And let's be clear, this is not a simple equation. Several factors complicate this picture. Religious switching is a powerful force that does exist. Disaffiliation from religion is high in many Western nations, and it may offset some of the birth advantages for religious groups. Secondly, fertility rates are declining among all groups, and in many ways much faster than projections expected even 10 years ago. Also, access to education for women and economic development are powerful drivers of low fertility rates, regardless of belief. For instance, look at Iran, which is, of course, an Islamic republic. It saw its fertility rate plummet from over 6 children per woman in the 1980s to just 1.7 today due to family planning and drastic socioeconomic changes. Also, immigration can rapidly change demographic landscapes in ways that pure birth and death rate calculations don't fully capture. So, for example, highly secular European countries are seeing significant immigration from more religious societies. So, really, what is the most likely outcome? It's probable that the 21st century will see a world where religion plays an increasingly significant role, and it is fueled largely by these demographic shifts. We may see more nations where life is influenced by religious belief, and this could lead to more pronounced cultural and ideological divisions across the globe. And this does not guarantee a clash of civilizations in a military sense, but it does suggest a future where navigating differences in deeply held religious and cultural values become an even more critical aspect of diplomacy. The world's religious landscape and its balance of power and ultimately its stability in 2050 will likely be more a product of who had children in the 2020s than any other single factor. So, what do you think? Are we destined to live in a world with growing religious conflict, or will we find a better way to coexist in a rapidly changing world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Blinded by Logic. Thanks for watching.